Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to game week. We're excited about the opportunity to play this Saturday. Obviously, we have to do some things right this week with COVID testing to make sure that that can still and we can still stay on course to play. But the guys are excited. We had a good workout yesterday. You could tell it was they see light at the end of the tunnel with regards to playing, and so. We had a good workout today. I told the guys dress warm. It's a little chilly out there today, but we're going to get back outside for the next couple practices and kind of hone in on our game plan against a really good Arkansas State team that we as a coaching staff have a ton of respect for. They've had, I think, 9 straight winning seasons, 9 straight bowl games, and I know Blake does a tremendous job with their program and be a great opponent come in here for us to challenge us in game 1. So open up for questions.
Scott Fritchen.
Am I on?
That's Scott.
Okay, sorry. Obviously, it's been a heck of a journey for Skyler during his career, and now he enters the senior season, and things are so uncertain. What is your message to Skyler as he begins the senior season, and what are a couple ways that you have really seen his growth over the past few months from a football perspective?
Well, my message to him is enjoy the journey and enjoy it and play within yourself. Follow the game plan, follow your reads. He's playing with so much confidence, very comfortable in our system. And so I'm excited about the growth that he's made really from last year at the end of the year to where we're at now. We can add so many more things to his plate from making adjustments at the line of scrimmage, to changing protections, to changing routes, to changing the run game, whatever it may be. And he's in total control of the offense now, and that excites me. And I also know that we're not a well-oiled machine yet on offense either, just because of missed guys for whatever reason and missed practice time. So I think it's going to continue to be a work in progress this year, but I'm excited about what he's capable of doing for his senior year.
And I'm probably dating myself, but in the 27 years I've been at Kansas State, it's been very rare that you've had a true freshman running back crack the 2 deep for a season opener. What is it about Deuce Vaughn that allowed him to climb so high so quickly, and what makes him special?
Well, he's got a great skill set. He can catch the ball extremely well. He's got great vision. He can run inside. He can run outside. And we're excited about seeing what he can do, as well as a number of younger players. And it'll still be for us running back by committee. We have Harry and Tyler that are going to take a lion's share of the reps, but Deuce and Jacardier will get their share as well. We're going to play an awful lot of running backs on Saturday, like we will throughout the year. But I'm excited just to see how mature, or I'm excited how mature Deuce has been throughout this process, and the game is not too big for him. He's excited about the challenge.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Kels.
Hey, Chris, if you can reflect back big picture for me, what would you say was your greatest achievement in year 1? Not like one win here or there, but just overall, what would you say was the best thing you achieved in year 1 at K-State?
I would just say the relationships we as a staff built with the players takes a while to earn trust, takes a while to hold somebody accountable, that as well as know that you still love them. That doesn't happen overnight. It's still happening, and it's still a work in progress because we missed so much time in the spring. But that's probably, as a staff, are something that we're most proud of, is the fact that we feel like we've been around these guys for a number of years, not just a little over a year with the time we missed.
And we've heard a lot about Khalid Duke throughout the preseason, but it's Bronson Massey who's listed as the starter on your depth chart. What is it about him that helped him win that spot?
We're going to play an awful lot of guys, just like we've done last year here and we've done in the past. And so you're going to see a minimum of 4 defensive ends, probably 5. You're going to see a minimum of 4 defensive tackles, probably 5. Boom's done a really good job. He has tremendous experience. Khalid's a young player that we think has a great upside to him. So you're going to see an awful lot of guys out there on Saturday.
John Kurtz.
Yeah, hey, Coach, I know you mentioned
Still, obviously, some rounds of testing to get through this week. Just when you look around the league and see there have been a couple of games postponed already, are there some nerves that come along with that and what that may bring this week?
Absolutely. You have to be diligent. You have to stay on guard. You have to keep your bubble as small as you can each day, because you never know when a player, a coach, a support staff, anybody could be infected. We know that it's out there. And fortunately, the guys that we have had obtained COVID, they haven't been sick. They've had mild symptoms. And so that's a positive. The negative is there's a number of people that are still out for us, but yeah, every day we talk about it. Make sure when you leave the facility that you know who you're around. You protect yourself, you protect the team, keep your bubble small, and if we continue to do those things on a daily basis and continue to stack those great days, we can get to Saturday and how great it's going to be to play a game.
Now that we sit here on game week, how comfortable do you feel with the offensive line and the guys that you're going to be able to run out there on Saturday?
I feel comfortable. Coach Riley has done a tremendous job with those guys. We're going to play a number of guys up front, and they need snaps. They need experience, and it's going to be good for those guys. We're going to make some mistakes in the offensive line. I like our athleticism. I like our aggressiveness. But we're going to have some errors, and that's just part of a young group playing together for the first time, as well as shuffling guys in and out, because we're going to play more than 5. And so it'll be a work in progress, like it's going to be throughout the early part of the season. But I think that's a little bit of what college football is going to be like throughout the early part of the season. Everybody's going through some issues or some growing pains at specific positions, and you're going to play more and more guys, maybe because of it's a lack of repetitions, and you want to make sure that you keep guys healthy, as well as the fact that you're just down certain numbers at different spots.
Thanks, Chris.
Bet.
Adamar.
Coach, now that it's game week and the first game day is this Saturday, how does the coronavirus affect the daily life of these players?
Well, it affects them every day, without question. They always are being asked to protect themselves. They're helping each other protect themselves by reminding guys to social distance, wear a mask, have great hygiene, something we talk about after practice every day, making sure that keeping your bubble small like we talked about before. It's a part of all of our daily lives now. It doesn't matter if you're a football player or if you're out in the world in just normal working environments. It's in schools and stuff. It's a part of our world, and we have to continue to accept it, and we have to continue to be diligent, and we have to continue to realize that the virus isn't going away. So what can we do to mitigate that? What can we do to make sure that we stay safe? And that's something that our trainers and our docs have done a phenomenal job of laying out the protocols, and our guys are doing a nice job of following those. And we need to continue to do that, not just this week, but we need to continue to do that throughout the whole fall.
And what would you say you expect to see from Briley Moore on Saturday?
I'm excited for Briley. He's a tremendous athlete. He can block at the point of attack. He can catch a ball out of the backfield. He can be flexed out. I mean, we're going to utilize him in an awful lot of positions. And so I'm excited for him to have the opportunity, which he's earned. He's earned the respect of the players. I can promise you that. Just how he conducts himself on the field, in the weight room, what he does on a daily basis. He's earned the respect of the older guys, and I'm excited to see him perform.
Derek.
Coach, I know it's not a fun thing to consider, but have you guys kind of planned out what would happen if you were to have to miss a game because of the virus, and how might that look like?
Yeah, we have some contingency plans for every coach. And Mess makes a great example. By the time we get to Thursday or Friday, everybody knows the game plan on offense, and we have it detailed out. Here's what we want to call in first down. Here's what we want to call in third and medium, third and short, that a variety of guys on offense could call it. And we want Mess to do it because that's an expertise that Courtney has. But I think that's everything. That's offense, that's defense, that's special teams, that's the head coach as well. I mean, Van would step in for me and run the show, and we wouldn't miss a beat. But that's the reality. It doesn't matter if it's a coach, if it's a player, if it's a graduate assistant. Everybody has great value on the sideline during game day, and so everybody will have to step up. And we knock on wood that doesn't happen to any of us, but we're fully aware there's a good possibility it could throughout the season.
Thank you.
Seren?
Coach, a couple of questions. Number one, the roster limits that were announced, the 53 here and the 7 on the O-line and how that came about. How much input did you get? And if you did, how did you give it? Was there a big conference call? Was there powwow, everyone write down their ideas, and then the powers that be put it together? How did that come about?
You're talking the Big 12. There was a vehicle that drove by here.
Yeah.
The Big 12 requirements. There was conversation back and forth. We had a preliminary conversation as head coaches. I think it was the end of July, 1st of August, of what we felt we could play with, as well as what we wanted to play with. I think there's 2 different situations there. And then I communicated with Gene Taylor as Gene was on calls with athletic directors. And the biggest thing that I want to make sure of is that the line of scrimmages is taken care of. You have the ability to have 7 offensive linemen where you feel you can get through that ball game and keep people safe and healthy. Well, if you have 5 offensive linemen left and a couple of them are true freshmen, that's not a good situation for your quarterback, for your running backs, anything. So for us to be able to have 7 offensive linemen healthy, I think you have an opportunity to be able to compete. If you're missing a bunch of wide receivers, if you're missing your quarterback, if you're missing a couple of running backs, if you have that core offensive line, you still should be able to compete and play. On defense, I thought it was the interior defensive line. You have to have some interior guys, and you have to have a stable of those, because if not, then you have another issue with potential safety with linebackers and safeties, because it's going to come at them so fast. And so from that respect, I think the line of scrimmage is the first thing that has to be solidified for us to be able to play. And that's why every week I think all of us coaches are saying, we need to continue to get through this testing. We need to continue to get through another round of testing, because I saw and have seen how fast you can be depleted at a specific position. And it may be only one positive test, but you could have 6 or 7 contact traces, and all of a sudden, boom, you're done. You're not playing, and people can't maybe understand that. But from a player safety standpoint, it has to be that way. And so the line of scrimmage is the key for everybody.
And then a follow-up would be I know there's so much that's still unknown about the virus, but we are learning as we go. Is there anything that's, as you've had the outbreaks, the different times that, when you guys do your contract tracing and you do your research, you come back and go, okay, we figured this out. This is something the guys got to really look out for, something that, along the way you've learned that now has been put in place to make you guys even better?
Well, I think when the students came back, we knew there would be an onslaught of potential problems. And I don't think that's just at Kansas State. I think that's everywhere in the country. And I think that has proven to be true. And so more than anything, it's just, and I understand 18 to 24-year-olds are gonna do some things, and they're gonna have some fun, and potentially a 2-week illness for the general student, if they're not sick, isn't something that they're that concerned about. Where a 2-week illness or a 4-week illness for a student athlete is something that, that's, you're missing an awful lot of time. And so we've just continued to preach to our guys, avoid large gatherings, avoid the bar scene, avoid house parties, avoid anything where you're going to be indoors or outdoors. I don't care which one it is. And you have multiple people, 10 or more, and you're not sure if everybody's wearing a mask. And let's be honest, it's tough for an 18 to 22-year-old, because I have that age group at home myself, that they always have a mask on. And so that's the thing that we just keep preaching to our guys, to try to keep themselves and to keep their teammates safe by having that small bubble of knowing who you're with.
Kels?
You mentioned it just there, but when a player does test positive, is it a 4-week timetable for them to return, or is it less than that?
Dallas, I wish I could answer that. That's still to be determined. I know that there's an isolation period of 10 plus days, and then everybody's going to be different as far as how soon they come back, because there's an awful lot of tests they have to complete. Obviously, everybody knows a number of those things are on the heart with echoes and EKGs and some other things that nobody's going to be put back out there before the docs are 100% sure they're ready to go. Is that an extra week? Is it an extra 4 weeks? Every case has been different that I have seen so far.
And I also want to ask about the wide receivers. It seems like that's got to be a tricky situation right now where you're trying to build cohesion with the quarterback. What's that been like through camp, getting those guys on the same page?
It's a challenge. There's no question. It's a challenge because, we've had guys in and out of the lineup. We've not practiced because our numbers were down for a period of time. We didn't practice 3 consecutive days very often. We'd be on for 2 and then off for 1, just because of some of our numbers at certain spots were a little bit low. So I don't think we had a chance to get a lot of cohesiveness going between the quarterbacks, receivers. It's getting better. No different. I think it has a chance to improve. I'd say the same thing about your secondary or your offensive line. Any position where there's a player down, whether it's because of an illness or because of an injury, you want to make sure that communication it stays connected all the time with the same kind of voices. And it just hasn't been. But that's for everybody across the country. It's not just us. I know everybody. I look at our punt team, even our punt team, we're going to have a new punter back there. We're going to have a new guy calling the shield because we lost Blaze Gammon. So that guy's changed a lot for us. The guy that's calling the shield, the punt group up front has changed because of some injuries and things. So everything is about continuity, and it's hard to have continuity right now in college football, and everybody's going through it. And so you do the best with what you have, and you continue to stay positive with the guys.
Walters.
Hey, Coach, as it pertains to Arkansas State, a couple of questions. First, as you saw what took place against Memphis, what do you see as the differences between their 2 quarterbacks, and do you expect Arkansas State to use both guys on Saturday? And then I'll get to my next question.
I do expect both guys to play on Saturday. I think they both, throughout their body of work, probably have earned a right to be able to play. And I think the thing that's hard for us to replicate, and everybody knows it, that runs this style of offense is the speed. Can we get lined up? If we can get lined up, we have a chance. Well, come on, it's not that hard to get lined up. That's their nature of their offense, is to make sure you cannot get lined up quickly.
And the second question, with the newcomers, the changes in the secondary, I'd like to hear your perspective on the matchup with Arkansas State's size and athleticism on the edge at wide receiver.
They're extremely talented at wide receiver. Good thing for us, we're experienced in the secondary. Between Lance, AJ, Keandre, they've played an awful lot of football. Keandre, obviously, at Minnesota. Our safeties have played an awful lot of football. So it'll be a big challenge for our guys, without question. It'll be a challenge because they have really, really good skill outside. So we have to do a number of really good things of changing up our coverage and rolling different ways and showing them different pictures. And you have experienced quarterbacks that probably seen an awful lot, but we have to continue to be able to mix things up.
Ryan Black.
Hey, Chris, how you doing today?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. We've heard a lot about Khalid as well as the true freshman running backs, but is there maybe one or two guys who we haven't heard about as much, but have really come a tremendous way since you guys reconvened for camp?
I look across the offense, and it's a lot of older players. I'm excited about Cooper Beebe. Here's a young guy that is really a freshman that's going to play an awful lot for us on the offensive line. He's a good example of somebody that we were really high on last year, But we had 5 seniors, and so we didn't have to play Cooper. But I'm excited about Cooper Beebe. I think he's going to be a terrific football player for us on the offensive line. And we're playing him at guard and we're playing him at tackle on either side. So he's a really versatile guy, and I think that he's going to have a tremendous career here, and he's off to a really good start. He'll play a ton for us on Saturday. Probably on defense, I'd say Will Jones. You guys heard us talk about Will Jones. He's going to play some nickel back for us. Really talented, fast, athletic guy that can play some slot receivers. He'll strike you. He's got good ball skills. So I'm excited about Will as well.
Let's get these last 2 in real quick. Go ahead, John Gertz.
Yeah, Coach, I know you brought him up briefly earlier with the running backs, but Jacarrier, right? Just where is he at progress-wise? Not seeing him on the depth chart after he did, play some for you last year.
He's definitely in the mix on the depth chart, always working with the first group, so to speak. But we have a number of running backs working with the first group. Jacarrier missed a little bit of time in fall camp. He's back and feeling good. And so, he did some really good things early in the season last year, and then we lost him to an ankle injury for a good chunk of time. And then we were able to play him late in the season to retain that red shirt because I think his fourth game was against Iowa State. So he'll play. He'll have a role on Saturday. It's a fun thing for Coach Mess. We have a number of backs. We have a number of receivers. We have a number of tight ends that I think it makes us more difficult to say, boy, if you just double this guy or if you just key on this guy in the run game or throw game. I think Skyler's excited because there's multiple guys that can get the football and do some special things.
Thanks.
You bet.
Last one right here, D. Scott. You're muted. Hold on.
Was last time we talked to Coach Stannard, he said that J-Ball was knocking off some rust. Where do you see Justin Hughes in his progress over camp?
He's improved. I don't think J-Ball is where he wants to be, but he's getting better. He came off a really serious knee injury, and from understanding what we're doing and getting guys lined up and being a great voice and communicator out there, he's every bit of what I knew he was going to be. From a physical standpoint, I know he's going to just continue to get stronger as the year goes on. I'm telling you guys, that was a horrific knee injury that he suffered. He's got Eli, who's suffered a horrific knee injury as well. So they have some things to feed off each other and utilize. But he's going to play an awful lot for us. We're fortunate there because Daniel Green's going to play an awful lot for us at Mike Backer. Justin Hughes is going to play a lot for us at Mike Backer. Eli Sullivan's going to play a lot for us. Cody Fletcher's going to play a lot for us. We have 4 linebackers with really good experience that can feed off of each other, and we're going to need all 4 of them, not only Saturday, but throughout the entire year.
Thank you.
You bet.